Okay, this guy's got fuck all for money, but he is the one that can buy things. Idra, yeah. Get all the cool spells I already know. And a black soul gem. Like bullet. Egypt Warhammer of the Blaze. It's a pizza shit. How often are you underwater in this game? Especially long enough to have to worry. Go away. Does cover most of the heavy loot. Which leaves me much higher carrying capacity used than I'd like. Not got much money. I would rather make the money than just pointlessly use all of these wines just to be like, huh, I'm drinking wine in the video game. Ho ha ha. Roll of shit. 15 points. Not even enough to take out a cliff racer.
All right, then.
Oh, no. Okay, they didn't land in the thing, so I don't have to do my janitor job again.
Please don't bother the Archmage unless it's absolutely
just
necessary.
Staring at the door? Yeah, at least the.
If there are any problems, let me know. It's my job to
You're the
keep things running
tankard.
smoothly.
You're not even holding it right. Oh,
Day-to-day operations are my responsibility, which means if you become a
just
problem...
ate the tankard!
Mine is not a popular position, but someone needs to keep
Why are you
things
following
running
me?
smoothly around here.
Shut the fuck up. This one isn't dirty? No soul gems in here? Huh?
Are you quite sure we need to be speaking?
Sure, you need to die.
I'm disappointed to say I've learned little during my time here.
Why are you following me? Go away. This isn't even the same quest.
I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Are we clear?
Crystal clear.
Hundreds of years have gone into assembling this collection. It's going to stay pristine, understand?
Where did those two come from? They just teleported out of the bookcase. Found more of Shaladora's work.
Excellent. I'll start translating it. Shouldn't take me more than a day or two.
Well, have you made any progress yet?
I only just got my hands on it. I can only work so quickly.
Why is that even a dialogue option?
There are few places where one can pursue my type of work without fear of persecution.
Really now. About...
You need a book? Talk to me. Otherwise you're going to find
That
yourself...
incident in Morthal was just a misunderstanding, no matter what the guards claim.
Necromancy isn't frowned upon?
I sure know. Those archaic policies died out with the Mages Guild, and were never enforced here.
Wait, the guild itself
Necromancy,
is
as any
dead?
other type of magic, is a tool to be used. Of course, non-mages may not see it that way, so we don't go around flaunting it.
Asshole. Are there any conjurers outside of... What a stupid question. I've run into like thousands of them.
Not within society, no. Many who practice within the school of conjuration do so on their own, secretly. Phalion is the only one I know who is public about what he does. He was once my teacher here, but left the college years ago.
Why?
He didn't like the Archmage. Hated dealing with him. Hated having to answer to him. Phalion said he hated what this place was becoming, so he just left. Arin found a note on his desk, and that was it. I understand he settled down in Hjalmarch, and his presence there caused something of a problem.
You went from the missing apprentices?
None. It's been long enough that, honestly, I don't expect to hear from them.
Okay.
There are few places where one can pursue my type of work without fear of persecution.
Enchanting services are one of the few things that keep us in touch with the rest of Skyrim. The local Nords may not like us very much, but they don't seem to mind having access to enchanted weapons and armor.
I need something enchanted.
I'm sure you can figure it out on your own. If you can't, perhaps Urag has a book you can read.
Useless.
My pleasure. I'm sure you can figure it out on your own. No, I can't. I have enough to keep me busy. View it as a chance to hone your craft.
Tedious, pointless job I can do.
There's more enchanting to be done. You can acquire whatever it is and bring it back here, and I'll take care of it. All right, be quick about it, will you? This is a good way for the college to bring in some money. Here's the name and location of the client.
That's more
Until next time.
tedious than I was hoping.
I think the college is due for a change in leadership. It's lies. All of it. I don't care what she told you. It's all lies.
What a completely organic bit of dialogue. What the fuck are you talking about?
No? Well, then she hasn't gotten to you yet. But she will. And don't you believe a word of it.
What do you know about Ancano?
Don't trust that one. He's up to something. Most here are up to something, of course, but in his case, it's not good. I haven't figured it out yet, but I will. He is rather handsome, though, isn't he?
Typical high elf. What's your problem with Feralda, even though you've never mentioned her, or... Stupid.
My problem with her? She's the one who has a problem with me. She's threatened by me, by my skill as a wizard, by my elegance and posture, by my superior good looks. But she is not going to get the better of me. Oh no, I won't let it get to me one bit. That's what she's after. She's trying to undermine my confidence, make me doubt myself. Well, it won't work, I tell you.
Typical high elf. You look like you could use some help.
Well, I suppose I could use a hand with something, yes. Feralda's working on something, and I want to know what it is. I want her notes. You think you could get them for me without her knowing?
What's in it for me?
I'll throw some money at you. Good enough? Just get the notes and bring them to me. If you can't do it, I'll find some other way to manage it.
Everybody's an asshole.
Enchanting services are one of the few things that keep us in touch with the rest of Skyrim.
I missed the guild. Finally, something that looks good. If there's more lighting like this in this game, it would look a whole lot better. One in particular, specifically. I don't know if it's got something to do with the specific ways Special Edition is set up. If it differs from other games on this version of the engine, like Fallout 4 and 76, in that it's not a nuclear wasteland, or it doesn't have the weird 7th gen style color correction profiles of Starfield, but the way the lighting comes from these windows looks, I think it's a mod that it enables it, but the engine's doing the work. This looks really good. The shadow for the window frame, it's too sharp for the situation. But the lighting again,
You know,
just...
they say knowledge is its own reward.
Shut up, I'm speaking about lighting. It looks really good. It looks like genuine real-world daylight.
Illusion, really, is the least appreciated of the schools of magic.
You know what I appreciate? Good lighting. It's one of the reasons I like
Only I
ray
could be
tracing.
free of the mundane, day-to-day activities life so often requires.
Talking unprompted to people while holding an empty glass.
What do you need?
Nothing from you.
Hmm?
Yeah, nothing from you. Why are you talking to me? Talk about lighting and ray tracing. And why I like ray tracing, because it
Good
gives
afternoon.
really good lighting. Yeah, afternoon. Really good lighting. And the reflections. That's also another thing.
Hmm?
You're just gonna make noise every 5 seconds because I'm sitting here?
Need something?
I was here first. Yeah, fuck off. What a weird interaction. I don't get that much in Bethesda games, in part because I don't usually just sit on a bench. Yeah, I look like a mage, don't I? I look like someone who's going to be throwing spells around instead of carrying a giant battle axe. No, they didn't even finish the model, so you can see through the back from the front. There is a subtle reflection on the floor. I want to stay in first person. I prefer first person generally. Why does he look like he's waddling for stepping back? Come on. One of the reasons I like full body first person view. You get the player's shadow, and of course the body, so it adds immersion. Feels like you're actually in there. You get the experience of this while still here, instead of just being a floating camera. So few games seem to manage that. What other vocal points I'm supposed to be doing? Oh yeah, locate the missing college apprentices. Here are some quest markers pointing exactly where they are. Love it. I love it. You know, it's like these quests are like, find the glowing blue orb.
I have many important things on my mind. Your concerns are not among them.
Find the worthless asshole. There's just a giant marker above this dude's head.
Are you quite sure we need to be speaking?
And it's not like Magica or anything like that, where it does that as a parody joke.
I'm disappointed to say I've learned little during my time here.
Plenty to say that you're still alive. This is unlocked now. I guess I've done one quest for the Mages Guild, which is walking through a dungeon full of Draugr. Who would have fucking expected that? So now I get to talk to the Archmage. And you know what? Quest number 3 for the Mages College, not Guild, is going to be I am the Archmage. This looks like a rip-off of the Mage's Tower in Oblivion. Stone of Barentia. Amulet of Kings. Oblivion was so good. He can steal his robes. These are mine now, bitch. I'll become the Archmage without actually going through the 3 quests it takes to get there. You know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen. You know the end game of this quest line is you get to be the leader. Remember the case for the Not Fighters Guild. The Very Wolf Companions. And for the Thieves Guild, is that the end of the game is going to be you're the leader. You're a douchebag. Just use the highest quality, heaviest shit possible. Free up space like nothing matters. Yeah, I don't care about your Archmage. I'm using your personal table to enchant things I stole from you. What are you gonna do about it?
What you learn here will last you a lifetime. Several, if you're talented.
I talked to this guy outside and he wasn't wearing these clothes.
Please, don't do anything to anger the locals. They don't need additional reasons to hate us.
What is the point of the college? To learn magic?
Purpose? I should think it's self-evident. Magic is a true power, not something to be shunned by commoners, or treated as an amusing diversion by politicians. It shapes worlds, creates and destroys life. It deserves proper respect and study. The college is a place where we can focus on that, without the pressures of the world weighing down on us.
Have you ever met with this particular order?
Personally? No, not I. One of their number used to advise the Archmage when I was but an apprentice here. But that was a great many years ago, before all the members of the Order were called back to the Isle of Artaeum, and it disappeared entirely.
I need to speak to you about Sarthal, I guess.
Please don't tell me that another one of the apprentices has been incinerated. I have enough to deal with right now.
We found something. Yes. Neither option implies you have any more intellect than a potato. We found something in Sarthal, and Tolfdir thinks it's important.
Very well. I trust that you wouldn't be here were it not significant. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Tolfdir normally looks after your little group, yes? Since he's apparently occupied, and I will need to see this discovery for myself, I think perhaps you should begin researching the subject. And good work. The next time you find yourself exploring Nordic ruins, perhaps this will be helpful.
Whoa.
Now if you'll excuse me.
Whoa, the Imperial report on the thing I just went through. Probably read this before. Did it rather suddenly. Up to just walk to a different chair. Yeah, this is my reading chair. This is
What
my
you learn
drinking
here
chair.
will last you a lifetime. Several, if you're talented.
This is my eating chair. This is my passing out after taking psychedelics chair. You don't want to know what these chairs are for. Why does this man have so many chairs? Stop with the frost Chinook. Why are there so many chairs? Still don't understand what you would use this for. Like, why would you remove the enchantment for things?
It's no secret that the college's reputation in Skyrim is tainted.
It's no secret that every fucking line of dialogue in this goddamn college involves stopping, pausing to ellipses. It's no secret then when walking up these stairs, your vision will clip through the wall. It's no secret that...
There you are. I've been trying to find you.
What?
I just wanted to let you know that Ancano's been asking about you. I think he's looking for you.
Why?
I'm not sure. Just... well, mind what you tell him, all right?
Is there a problem?
No. Well, I don't think so. Between the two of us, there are rumors about him. That this advisor position he has is a sham, an excuse. That what he's really doing is spying for the Thalmor, trying to feed them information. Whether it's true, I can't say. But it never hurts to be a little suspicious, does it?
You don't say. You mean the guy that's flagrantly a Thalmor agent, who says that he's a Thalmor agent, might be spying for the Thalmor? No fucking shit. How stupid do you think the people are that play this game?
You're welcome.
Yeah, this other high elf wanted me to steal your notes. I don't know why.
She what? Oh, I should have known she'd try it again. Thanks for warning me. I'll see to it this is taken care of.
Yeah, completed. You can't just say failed and give me a different objective. Alright, douchebag, what do you want?
I have many important things on my mind. Your concerns are not among them.
You just wanted to see me.
Are you quite sure we need to be speaking?
He doesn't even know what it's... This game does not know what its own fucking objectives are. And can I finish this stupid janitor job? Countenance.
Mirabelle does a fine job with customers and listeners. Still, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, I got the free soul gems. Right, for all this, just... Is this my room? No.
Urag can be very helpful. Just don't antagonize him.
Sure.
I understand you're the one that found this orb in Sarthal.
Don't hear about that yet. What do you know about the Sijic Order?
No more than anyone else, I don't think. They're a very old order. Predated the Imperial Mages Guild by quite a bit. In fact, the Mages Guild was founded in opposition to the idea of the Sijic Order, that only an elite few should have control over magic. No one has seen or heard from them in over 100 years now, though.
I think the timeline is a bit larger than that. The Archmage wanted me to see you about class. Huh? Gonna go to school now?
Yes, from what I've heard, I expect Tofdil will be occupied for some time. That is a problem, isn't it? I suppose someone else will need to look after the apprentices for now.
I don't know. What should I do if there's no class? I've only heard from like 20 different people that the entire point of this fucking place is just to practice magic.
Well, perhaps it's time for some independent study.
Like
Check
everybody
with
else said.
Urag Groshab in the Arcanium. See if he's aware of any references to this thing that you and Tolfdir found. I'd like to know as much as we can about it.
About this guy.
Illusion, really, is the least appreciated of the schools of magic.
Yeah, I got these fucking soul gems.
Yes, they have. I can feel the difference already. But, of course, I'm far more in tune with these sorts of things than most. Thank you. I appreciate your assistance.
Guy.
Farewell.
Cool gloves that give me lockpicking skills. I'm gonna use your alchemy lab. Without your permission. The things to restore magic, restore health. Why did I think there wasn't invisibility in this game? There's a poison of weakness to poison. You poison your blade so you can poison the blade. Do that prehistoric
Divine
meme
smile on you,
about
friend.
installing a PlayStation 2 in your car so you can drive while you drive. Submitted. Why is this under the mages college? I keep trying to call it the guild, but apparently the guild doesn't exist. This would be a rather sorry excuse for a guild anyway. Why is this here? The cross between a sewer and what I expect to be another dungeon filled with Draugr. And it's got corpses hung up on the wall. Something about this doesn't seem right, which makes me question the validity of this entire institution. You hear me? I question the validity of this entire institution. Doesn't really take up that much. This basic fireball spell that inefficient. More salt! More salt! In 20 years, when I find another fucking cooking pot, I can cook so many things. At least I've got a couple Magicka restoration potions, so I can restock a mana Magicka for like one fight. 1/10 of one fight. Yeah, this is looking a little suspicious. Nephew, I apologize that I cannot see you personally before you leave. The drift from Sidrith Mora. Whoa, Morrowind is treacherous this season, or would have visited upon hearing the news. The Norns have a fine college at Winterhold, and I am sure you will excel. You may know that I, too, attended there. I was quite the conjuration adept in my own day. I am sending you my notes on something called the Atronach Forge, a bit of a project of mine while at Winterhold. I mentioned nothing to the faculty, but ask your fellow pupils. Ask your fellow pupils about a place called the Midden. You'll find the forge there. I fear a number of my notes are missing, scattered and lost in my travels around Skyrim. Oh boy, more collectibles. Perhaps you may stumble across these in your own adventures. The Atronach Forge. This is in a different font. The Atronach Forge offers few clues as to who built it, and even fewer as to how to unlock its full potential. Only through blind experimentation and a few singed eyebrows have I been able to understand its function. See, at this point, I decided to switch to a typewriter instead of writing. The forge is mostly a large dice, almost crude of make, but emblazoned with the traditional Daedric Oblivion rune. An offering box is attached as well as a prominent lever. The dice also features a large setting which seems set to receive some large spherical object. I have had no luck determining what this missing object may be, however, or what effect it may have on the efficacy of the forge. The forge is activated by placing certain items into the offering box, and then pulling the lever. The forge consumes the items and conjures something upon the dies. The conjuration can be projected reliably if the appropriate items are left in the box. Many combinations have either no effect or catastrophic reactions. Once I conjured a wild goat. Whoa! Well, most of the goat, at least. Experimenting wildly with the forge is dangerous. I have recorded such recipes as I have discovered on the following pages. Simplest yet most hazardous stable recipe is that for a summoned Atronach. The conjured brutes will attack the first thing they see, however. Be ready for battle if you have reason to use these recipes. What a useless piece of shit. Alright, so you can use this to summon Atronachs without expending Magicka, but they attack you. Really, the only purpose I can see is to farm souls. Have I gems? I have many gems. I have so many gems, I don't know what to do with them. First salt's been ready. Wonder how many of these I have. I have 14 rubies. And I have 2 fire salts. What do fire salts do, anyway? Store Magicka? I guess I'll take the Snackifice. Whoa. Wait. Even uses up the ruby. Check that. No, it uses up the fire salt as well, but it's like one edge. I can't entirely tell what it's doing. Rather than what it's filling. Yeah, while I'm doing this, got like 1 million of these. I could have been farming fire salts this whole time. Kinda call that good enough. Didn't I say something about there being a Draugr invasion? Boring. And where did it come from? It just spawned. quick break because I gotta refill this drink, and I may as well take a piss while I'm at it. Made a minor miscalculation. There was enough rum left for a second cup, and a tiny bit after that. I guess I'll have more of this before resorting to beer. That being said, big sip of water, which I forgot to do last time. At least to save him. Let's see what. Yeah, surely I cannot simply walk with this. Yeah, nothing odd or off-putting here. You see, they got these lanterns as objects you can pick up, but they're not objects that are actually lit up. Can't use them the way you use a torch. Missing students were found in Minden this morning. Dead as expected. None of us bothered keeping a detect life charm for the search at this point. Bodies were found together, each suffering the same deformities: peeled and bubbling skin on the arms and face, conjurer's burn, as is commonly referred to around the college. It's little doubt they were attempting a summoning ritual well beyond their capabilities. Reluctantly, I putting it down to this Syrian rest. I admit that I've never seen one like it. A large segmented sculpture with the gauntlet, the Daedric sigil, Oblivion, blazoned upon the palm. Attempts to move it were in vain. We must show it to Archmage Setoth during his upcoming visit. Perhaps he will know more. Though we couldn't move the relic, I was able to pry 4 rings from it. I'm sure there's a connection between them and the ritual these students were attempting. I'll store these in the Arcanium until we can consult with the Conjuration Master a little more. Did I just solve the mystery of that entire quest? Or is this just a different batch of students that got ganked? Despite everything, I'm going to be very disappointed if the answer to this entire quest is simply they were downstairs beneath the college. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of bodies. Why is this floating? It's an invisible table. I'm 611 years old. I've never had children of my own, but I have many nieces and nephews and cousins who have been raised with the tales and traditions of our ancient, illustrious, and occasionally notorious clan, the Direni. Few families in Tamriel can boast so many famous figures, wielding so much power over the fate of so many. Our warriors and kings are stuffed with legend. It is not to dismiss their honor and their achievements to say you have heard quite enough about them. I myself have never picked up a sword or written an important law, but I am part of a lesser known but still important Direni tradition, the Way of the Wizard. My own autobiography would be of little interest to posterity, though my nephew, nieces, and cousins indulge me to tell wild tales of life in the chaotic second era of Tamriel. But I have a few ancestors whose stories should be told. They may have changed history as we know it dramatically as my better-known relatives, but their names are in danger of being forgotten. Most recently, Lysander, the king of Daggerfall, was able to conquer his ancient enemies of Sentinel, in part thanks to his court sorceress, Medora Direni. Her grandfather, Jofran Direni, was imperial battle mage to the court of the Dunmer Empress of Tamriel, Kataria, assisting her in creating peace in a time of turmoil. His great-great-grandfather, Piladil Direni, had a similar role with the First Potentiate, and encouraged the Guild Act, without which we would not have all the professional organizations we have today. His ancestor, many times back, was the witch Raven Direni, who was with her better-known cousins Aiden and Ryan, brought an end to the tyranny of the latter Lessian Empire. Before the Sigix of Artaeum, it is said, she created the art of enchantment, learning how to bind a soul into a gem, and use that to ensorcel all manners of weaponry. But it is the story of an ancestor even more ancient, more distant than Raven, I wish to tell. Aslian Direni harkens back to the humble beginnings of our clan in the tiny farming village of Terigel, on the banks of the river Calbus, which was then called Dyrin, hence the family name. Like all in the Somerset Island those days, he was a simple planter of the fields. But while others only grew enough to sustain their immediate kin, even distant cousins and their Rennies worked together. They would decide as a group which fields were best for wheat, orchard, vine, livestock, or apiary, and thereby always have the best yields of any farm which worked alone, doing the best as it could with what it had. I'm sniffing some unmedicated menthol to do with my nose. Esliel had a particularly poor farm for most kind of agriculture, but small herbs found in stony, loamless, acidic soil very comfortable. Out of necessity, more than anything else, he became an expert on all manners of herbs. For the most part, of course, they were used in flavoring cooking, but as you know, hardly any plant grows on the surface of our world without magical potential, even so long ago, witches already were in existence. It would be ridiculous for me to suggest that Asliel Direni invented alchemy. What he did, what we can all be grateful for, was that he formulated it into an art and science. There were no witches' coverts in Tirigel, and of course there would be no mages guild yet for thousands of years. So people would come to him for cures. He learned for himself the exact formula for combining black lichen and rubrush to create a cure for all manners of poisons, and the amount of willow anther to crushing mixed with chokeweed to cure diseases. There were few much greater threats in Tirigel than those peaceful days than disease or accidental poisonings. Yes, there were some dark forces in the wilderness, trolls, chimera, the occasional malevolent fairy folk, and will-o'-the-wisp. But even the youngest, most foolish Altmer knew how to avoid them. There were, however, a few unusual threats in which Asliel had a hand in defeating. One of the tales told of him, that I believe to be true, was how he was brought a young niece who had been suffering from an unknown disease. Despite his ministrations, she grew weaker and weaker every morning. Finally, he gave her a bitter-tasting drink, and the next morning, ashes were found all around her bed. A vampire had been feeding on the poor girl, but Asliel's potion had turned her very blood into poison, without harming her in the least. If only this formula had not been lost in the mist of history. This would have been enough to make him a minor but significant figure in the annals of early Somerset, but at that point in history, a barbarian tribe called the Lokvar had found their way down the Dyron River, and recognized Tirigel as a rich target for raids. The Direni, not being warriors but simple farmers, were helpless and could only flee and watch the Lokvar take the best of their crops raid after raid. Asliel, however, had been experimenting with the vampire dust, and brought his cousins to him with a plan. The next time the Lokvar were sighted in the Dyron, the word went out, and all the most able-bodied came to Asliel's laboratory. When the barbarians arrived at Tirigel, they found the farms deserted and assumed Ella had fled as usual. As they set about stealing the bounty, they suddenly found themselves under attack by invisible forces. Believing the Direni farms to be haunted, they ran away very quickly. They attempted a few more raids, for the greed would always eventually overpower their fear, and each time they were set upon by attackers who they could not see. As barbaric as they were not stupid, and they had changed their mind about the source of their defeat. It could not be that the farms were haunted, because the crops were still being tended and harvested, and the animals seemed to show no fear. The Lockford decided to send a scout to the farm to see if he could spy their secrets. The scout sent word back to the Lockford that the Durrani farms were populated with flesh and blood, entirely visible Altmer. He continued to watch as the barbarian cohorts moved down the river and saw the elderly and children flee to the hills, while the able-bodied farmers and their wives went to Asliel's laboratory. He saw them go in and saw no one come out. As usual, the Lockford were repelled by invisible forces, but the scout soon told them what he saw happening in the laboratory. Next night, two of the Lockford approached Asliel's farm very stealthily and managed to kidnap him without alerting the rest of the Durrani. The Lockford chieftain, knowing that the farmers could no longer count on the alchemists to make them invisible, considered an immediate attack on the farms. But he was vengeful sort, and felt he had been humiliated by the simple farmers. A crafty plan emerged in his mind. What if the Durrani, who always saw his barbarian tribes coming, once did not? Imagine if the slaughter, no one had even a chance to flee. The scout had told the chieftain that Asliel had used the dust of his vampire to make the farmers invisible, but he was not sure what the other ingredient had been. He described an incandescent powder that Asliel mixed into the dust. Asliel, of course, refused to help the Lockford, but they were experts on torture as well as pillage, and he knew how he would have to talk or die. Finally, after hours of torture, he agreed to tell them what the incandescent powder was. He did not know the name, but he called it glow dust, the only remains of a slain will-o'-the-wisp. He told them they would need a lot of it if they wanted to turn the whole tribe invisible for the raid. Lockford grumbled that not only did they have to find and kill a vampire to attain his dust, but to find and kill several will-o'-the-wisps to get theirs. In a few days' time, I think I'm going to have to drop the voice. I put on kind of a tired, maybe not old, but kind of grumbly voice, because it started off at 600 years old, but it's kind of hurting. To get back with the ingredients the alchemist asked for. The chieftain, not being a complete idiot, made Asliel taste the potion first. He did as he was told and turned invisible, demonstrating that it did truly work. The chieftain put into work creating more. No one apparently noticed that while he did, he was nibbling on black lichen and root brush. Lockford took the potion as he doled it out, and soon, but not too soon, that they didn't suffer, they were all dead. Scout, who had seen Asliel missing the invisibility potion, had apparently mistook the glow of the candlelight in the laboratory for an incandescent, which the second ingredient of the invisibility potion did not possess. The second ingredient was actually dull, simple redwood, one of the most common herbs in Tamriel. When they had insisted during torture that Asliel tell them what the incandescent powder was, Asliel remembered that he had once experimentally mixed glow dust and vampire dust together, created a powerful poison. Simple enough to steal a little redwood from the barbarian's camp, mix that with the vampire glow dust mixture, and create a potion that was in fact an invisibility potion. After curing himself, he gave the poison to the barbarians. The Lockford being dead never again raided the Durrani farms, and having no other enemies, they were able to grow more and more prosperous and powerful. Generations later, they left Somerset and began their historic adventures on the Tamriel mainland. Asliel Durrani, because of his excellence as an alchemist, was invited to Artadim and became a Sigil. It is not known how many more of the common formulas we know today were invented by him there, but I have no doubt the science and art of alchemy, as we know it today, would not exist without him. But that is all in the distant past. As of those innovations, and like my modest ones, are the achievements of the Durrani throughout history, are but a stepping stone to the wonders which will come in the future. She could be there to witness them, but if I can only share some of the past with the children of Durrani and the children of Tamriel, then I will consider my life well spent. It's an alchemy lab. It's an invisible alchemy lab. I have generated a potion that makes physical objects that are not people invisible. Whoa. I think I've read that one before. Oh, come on. Needless to say, I really hate having to use static tables to do alchemy and enchanting. When in a proper Elder Scrolls game, you can just do it anywhere as long as you own the right material. This place is extensive. Oh, that's looping back. Ooh. Back in my back. There's the invisible alchemy lab. I remember one of the 2 Skyrim doors being a lot closer than that. Grimoire. It's literally right here. I'm not going to bother fast traveling. I'm remembering not only Fallout 3, but Mormon's swimming animation. How comically bad it was. It's fairly easy to improve on that when you... I have an even better healing spell I should use. Yeah, it's pretty easy to improve on animations when you just go to motion capture. Of course, it took him another game to fix some really, really basic problems. Much as I like a lot of things with Bethesda games, despite their limitations and bits that are often done better by just about any other developer, there are things where they're severely lacking. I don't want the slow time, it's useless. I'll save that for later. I don't... Perhaps if I were not voicing this, I would read that after that long story. Whoa. Who the fuck is the Leste? Why is his ring here?